What's going on YouTube? Back again with another drawing video. This is Goliath and Bronx from Disney's Gargoyles, one of the best animated series we've seen in our childhood. My cousin's on the commentary again. This didn't this come out around the time Batman animated series came out?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Gargoyles was actually made to compete with Batman the Animated Series because WB was Warner Bros was kicking Disney's butts in on weekday afternoons around this time. So they made this like took a risk with the Gargoyles basically.
Well, Gargoyles is actually a good cartoon, man.
Yes, it was. It was one of the best cartoons. I remember. Let's see, I was in kindergarten, first grade when it came out. I want to say kindergarten when it first came out. And I remember, let me see, my 5th birthday it was my 5th birthday. I remember because I used to love the Gargoyles so bad. I used to have all the toys. I had Hudson, and I had Broadway. Like I always had, those were like the two ones. And for my birthday party, I got a Goliath special edition where the wings actually opened up and closed.
Yeah.
And they were made out of a fabric. Like, oh, you couldn't tell me nothing, boy, when I had those Gargoyle toys. Those are my favorite toys to play with. Like, I'm kind of mad because they kind of got, like, lost and broken over the years or whatever. But I remember I always used to have them sitting on my shelf. Like, that was my favorite thing, like, was Gargoyles for the longest. I even had the Gargoyle backpack and the school supplies of Gargoyle.
You probably can find that shit on eBay now, because eBay is like the ultimate go get your old toys. Like, you know what I seen the other day on there?
What?
I seen the old party wagon for TMNT, the old cartoon.
Really?
And I seen the scrubber dub rubber the balloon thing the hovercraft that they have for TMNT. That you blow up and you can have it in the tub. Yeah, I remember them toys. I even remember the Goliath toy with the fabric wings. Like Goliath, Disney had made the best toys. Not the best. I want to say they made the best toys, but they made some of the greatest toys. Cause even the Lion King figures was great. I mean, I had the same Goliath toy. I had Bronx. I had Lexington. And I think I had, what's the old guy name?
The Owen Hudson.
Hudson. I had Hudson. I couldn't get every time I wanted to go get the Brooklyn and
Brooklyn was always sold out.
Brooklyn was always sold out.
That's my favorite character too. So I was mad, boy, when Brooklyn was gone. I got Demona though.
Demona never was sold out. But Demona always played second fiddle to Elisa.
You always saw Demona and Broadway on the shelves for Gargoyles all the time.
Yeah, because they weren't really like they weren't really big in the community. But I mean, they were big, but some people just didn't care for them.
Yep. As a matter of fact, I had a Broadway toy too. I don't know if I mentioned that. I have short-term memory sometimes. I also had a Broadway toy for my birthday too. I remember the Broadway. Like he was pretty cool or whatever. I also had two of their cyborg counterparts. Like I had the cyborg Broadway, and I believe I had the cyborg. I want to say the cyborg Lexington.
Yeah. I mean, the fucking cartoon was dope. You had the Gargoyles. They had their whole backstory and how their whole clan was demolished and how they was all taken out. Then they had the new villain, Sanitos, which become the ally during the second and third season.
The end of the second season, beginning of the third season.
And it was like it was kind of dope how they transition that, and then it was like you had the Gargoyles, but you also had like other species. Like you had the animal, half human type underground species and shit. Like with the dude with the panther type dudes and shit. Like,
you talking about the one that the guy who used to work for Xanatos used to do, right?
Yeah, they called him Tylon or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Talon. His name was Talon. That was pretty dope though. It was like it wasn't that it just didn't focus all on Gargoyles, and then they had the enemy. The enemies was dope. Like you remember the TV action heroes that were actually really
The Pack.
yeah, the pack. The pack was the best episodes that I seen because we never seen anybody go hand in hand with the Gargoyles like that. First of all, and you know,
Well,
like
well, it's funny though that you say that though, because remember the first episode. Like the thing about the Pack is that they never were able to take on all the Gargoyles, like when it was all them versus all the Gargoyles. Because remember the first episode when they weren't really prepared. They didn't have all of Xanatos' tech, but they had enough, and they was going after Goliath and Lexington, and Goliath and Lexington took them all out by themselves. And then at that they kind of just like broke up though. And then, like, you know, Hyena and Jackal, they got prosthetics put in their body. Dingo, he got a whole daggone body remodel. And there was another one. I think Wolf or something. Was it Wolf?
I'm not sure, but it was one of the older guys. It was an older guy on their team too that like he was like the I guess the muscle almost, but it's like the pack was great. Xanatos did his thing; he was great. You even had to knock off Judge Dredd people in there that were hunting Gargoyles for years because of Demona when she killed their daddy. Because it was the Gargoyle hunters.
Yep.
See,
but one of them actually started liking the Gargoyles, didn't they?
Yeah, they actually became a part of it. At the end, they wound up becoming allies to the Gargoyles because one of their brothers went nuts and tried to destroy all the Gargoyles. And I think that was the time when Goliath found out about his daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. But that's what else I like about Gargoyles too was also they even threw in a little Shakespeare in there. If you remember, they had Macbeth in that movie.
Yeah, they did.
Three witch sisters, too.
And the thing about it, though, it was always a jealousy between Demona and Elisa. Elise, whatever her name was. I don't remember it correct. I haven't seen the cartoon in a couple months, but it was always a jealousy between the two because they both... Demona was Goliath's, I guess, wife or something like that. And their daughter... He has a daughter by her.
Yep. Angela.
Yeah, and she looked just like her mother.
Yep. But you notice how Demona's eyes are the only ones that turn red though? No, never mind, because remember the clone of Goliath? His eyes turned red too. I forget what they called him. Was it Tylon or
No, it wasn't. It was like a I don't know, man. It was something weird because it was. I know Keith Davis voiced him too, so.
But then in one of the episodes, I remember because him and all the other clones, they wound up like I don't know, going into like a permanent stone state or something like that because their body was unstable.
Yeah, I remember that, but yeah, it's a timeless cartoon that's never going to get old. You can always watch. Basically, yeah, like you said, it had some Shakespeare in it. I think it was like a Shakespeare storyline, to be honest. Yeah. Like most of the episodes were Shakespeare, like reenactments of certain storylines and plays that Shakespeare did. I'm trying to figure out who the other gargoyle was that like the metal Goliath. I'm trying to think of his name.
Me too.
What the fuck's his name?
Dang, well, you were trying to remember that, but like you said, anything about the gargoyles, like to me, what gets my attention to a show is the theme song, and the Gargoyle had to me one of the best theme song intros ever. Like it just like captivated you. Like Keith David comes in the monologue, and then the horns start playing, and it just like to me, it just got me hyped as a kid. I was ready.
Yeah, it was a great theme. It rivaled the Batman animated series thing because that was also
like it because they actually took a bigger risk than Batman. Because people say Batman was still the darker series. You remember the gun episode?
Yeah.
When Broadway sees Elisa's gun and he thinks it's cool, and then he shoots her, and then you see the blood. You see her get shot, and there's blood on the ground. And
yeah, he didn't. Like, he felt so bad about it and shit. He couldn't even show his face for a while.
And then after that, like, he never liked guns after that.
Because
like,
he thought he killed her. To be honest.
Yeah, and to me that episode had a good impact because to me that episode actually showed that guns do kill people. You may see it on TV, you may think it's cool or whatever, but when like the reality is when you accidentally shoot somebody or when you shoot somebody, you can't take it back. Like they're hurt, they're injured, they're dead, they're whatever. Like a gun is not a toy to play with.
Exactly, man. And the dude, the opposite of Goliath, his name was Tylog. It was like Goliath spelled backwards.
I knew it was Ty something. I knew it was something like Tylog, but yeah. Tylog was a badass too, though. To me, didn't him and Demona get together one episode?
She was the reason why he was created.
Yeah, that's true. But then he just went on his own, though.
Yep, basically, that's what he did.
I actually like the Tylog toy. I never got the Tylog toy either.
Because,
I have to go on eBay and look for these things so I can buy them now.
Because the clones, back to the clones, like you were saying, like they were like, you know how they was named after Brooklyn, like landmarks in New York. The ones in the clones were like named after landmarks in Los Angeles, basically. Because you had Malibu, if I remember correctly, you had Brentwood, you had Hollywood, you had Burbank, and you had Delilah or some shit like that. And that's basically stuff that was on the West Coast, and like it was kind of cool that they did that because we haven't seen shit like that. And then you had the mutates. Basically, you had Fang, you had Talon, which is basically you had Claw, you had Maggie Reed, and like it had a group of characters, and they weren't born. Even the filler episodes when Goliath was away and Brooklyn was in charge.
Brooklyn was in charge, yeah.
And then Lexington did his little thing, and Bronx, even Bronx had his own tale. Bronx had his own episode.
Yeah, he did. Here's something I found out too later on that in the comic book series, like the creators, they actually made Lexington gay.
Lexington looked like he could have been gay.
Yeah, he could have been. Like they could. You can't imply too much, especially back in that time. They never really implied it that much because it was a kids' cartoon at the same time. But they said when you got to the comic books, like he actually came out right and said he was homosexual.
Yeah, but that's the comic book. You get expected from the comic book because the comic books are always totally different than the TV series. I'm pretty sure, like, if you read some Darkwing Duck comic books, they were different than the cartoons. DuckTales, I'm pretty sure they were different. Donald Duck and shit. Because Donald Duck, Goofy, and Mickey Mouse, it was a couple episodes. There was one episode that Donald Duck had got high or some shit like that. Remember that episode?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was the episode when Chip and Dale had got high.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's not too shocking that they would have told me that Lexington was gay in the comic book because Lexington looked like he could have been a little sweet. I thought actually Lexington was a girl for the most part, but who cares? He was like the Donatello of the what you call him.
Exactly. He killed that technology. Here's one thing though that made me mad about the Gargoyles series though was the fact like poor Brooklyn, once again, he's my favorite character, so I gotta say, poor Brooklyn couldn't catch a break with the girls. You notice that?
Yeah, he couldn't.
He fell in love with the mutant girl, Maggie Lee, and but she was in love with daggone Talon. So then that was that. So she couldn't do that. Then he started having a crush on Angela, and then daggone fat ass Broadway comes along and just takes her. I don't understand how that happened. That still pissed me off. What did Broadway do, though? Broadway ain't contribute nothing to the group whatsoever, really, through the whole series. And
don't think you just didn't like Broadway.
I really did. I didn't like Broadway.
Wasn't Broadway Hudson's son or something like that?
Yep.
Or adopted son, stepson or something like that?
No, it is his son. Like, well, you know how like the Gargoyles, when they're all born, they're born to the clan.
Right.
But Broadway is Hudson's like biological son. Like Angela is Goliath's biological daughter, which I can kind of see that being, since remember Hudson used to lead the clan before Goliath, so it's like two former leaders and their kids get together just about basically.
But fucking Broadway is a fucking klutz.
He is. None like his dad.
Broadway was a big klutz, and even Hudson had an episode. You remember he had an episode with the blonde guy?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that became his best friend when he started having them. What he got? He got cataracts or something like that, or glaucoma.
Yeah, he was blind or some shit like that.
Yep, and then he got the eye surgery, and yeah, I remember that. I actually kind of like that character development episode because the whole time they kind of had Hudson like kind of being like the advisor to the group, and this was like an episode where you kind of got to see more of Hudson.
He was the old satchel of the group. He was the wise man. He basically, all he did was that when they went out on the adventures, he sat in the crib, or if he didn't go out with them, he would sit in the crib with Bronx and just watch TV.
Yeah, but he kicks ass though. Like to me, besides Goliath and besides Goliath and Brooklyn, Hudson kicked the most ass out of everybody.
Hell yeah, and then Bronx too. Bronx did his thing. Bronx was, even though he was the dog, he was.
How did that work? That's the one thing I always had a question. How did that work? Like he was the dog, or was he a gargoyle? I mean, he was a gargoyle because he turned into thing, but at the same time, was he like the dog? Like they have like a different subspecies of gargoyles, or was he just like like the retarded cousin of the group or something? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I always try to figure that out too, but you know how it's like us. Like maybe he was. They probably did have certain different subspecies because.
Yeah, it's just like. But then you think about it, as a kid, as a 6-year-old kid, 5-6-year-old kid, I didn't question that at the time. I was like, okay, well that's a dog. That's what it said.
That's all. That's all I always would have seen him as. Was a fucking dog. I always seen him as a dog. I seen him was basically the protector of Hudson. He was around Hudson, even though he was Goliath's dog, or whatever you want to call him. But
yeah. Did you ever get remember when the DVD came out? I mean, not DVD, the VHS came out for like it started off as it was packaged as a movie, but it was basically the first 3 or 4 episodes, 4 or 5 episodes of Gargoyles' first season. But they packaged it as a movie.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember the day I got that. I could not wait. I told my mom I wanted that movie. Like that was the movie for me, and that's when I knew I fell in love with Gargoyles. I remember it. Remember when it came with the board game too?
Yeah, they had that. They had everything for Gargoyles. Gargoyles was the rival to DC's Batman, which was dope. And in later years, the comic book series was written by Marvel, so you know it did great.
I'll tell you what was the death of Gargoyles, and what it was there was nothing wrong with Gargoyles. Gargoyles as a show, to me, could have still been going. It could have ran for a whole another 3 or 4 or 5 seasons. But the problem with it was the fact that Disney Afternoons was getting its ass kicked in the ratings, and they didn't know what to do. They had gold, but like one day Gargoyles would come on at 2 or 12 or 2 or 3 when you get out of class, and then the next day it'll come on at like 4 or 5. Like you never knew when it came on, so the ratings jumbled.
Yeah,
and so
and to be honest, if like you said, they could have got another season out of it. And if they was smart, if they was going to end the season at 3rd season, do a crossover with Batman the animated series, the series that you are competing against. You get what I'm saying? Because that would have been dope.
Yeah,
crossover.
They'll see it.
I would have liked to see it happen in the series that they came after with WB with Batman the Brave and the Bold. I would like to see that happen because it is in this cartoon series of that. you've seen so many different eras of Batman. Like you've seen the pirate version of Batman, the caveman version of Batman, the man bat version of Batman, the brainiac.
I love Man Bat. Man Bat was my favorite thing. That was the best thing they could have did for Batman. They haven't made him a major bad guy yet, or whatever. I'm surprised. Just like I'm mad that they didn't make Mutant Spider-Man when he turned into the Spider for a movie yet.
I don't know if they ever gonna do that, man.
Just imagine it. They all they have to do is make one movie with Kraven the Hunter as the main bad guy, or whatever. They reform him in that movie, and then the next movie he comes in and he becomes like for a part of the movie he becomes that the Spider the Spider-Man, I guess that's what they called him, or whatever. And then they have Kraven the Hunter goes in and he's trying to hunt him down to stop him from hurting civilians, because what people don't understand is that Kraven the Hunter is not really technically a bad guy. He's an anti-hero in the sense that the Kraven the Hunter will never harm an innocent person. But whatever he views as his quarry at the time, he'll stop at nothing for it.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, and then I can see them doing that, but like looping back to Gargoyles, to me, once again, there's so much that they could do or whatever, but it's just I don't know why they're not doing it.
I don't know. I think in that era of that time, all the dark and gritty cartoons ran their course, because sooner or later WB sold Batman the animated series to Cartoon Network, and then that's when basically they could have really came back. You could have gave us a 4th season.
But just tell me this, how this sounds. Since Marvel had the rights to do a comic of it and Disney still owns the Gargoyles, just imagine it coming on with the Hulk, Agents of Smash, the same artist or whatever, the same artist team, Hulk, Agents of Smash, The Amazing Spider-Man, and Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and then they get the same team to do the Gargoyles.
That would have been dope. I would like to see them redo the Gargoyles cartoon.
There's so much they could do with that, and it's like they got their trump card, and they have the opportunity to play it, but they're not playing it. It's even though they don't need to hold on to it.
I mean, even if they bring it back and make it like it was a 4th season or it's the 2nd Chronicle. Make it seem like Goliath is on his way out, and have Brooklyn become first in command. Make it all about Brooklyn and the rest of the clan. Or Hudson passed away, and now Goliath is basically Hudson now.
Yep. And then they have other kids. They found other Gargoyles and stuff like that.
Even a little episode when it was supposed to be Goliath's brother and sister-in-law. That was a little good episode too, with his brother and shit. But who knows, man? It's some of the things you can do with that cartoon, like you said. I mean,
and tell me,
Warner Brothers bit the big one when they did Lunatics Unleashed, and that's the perfect time for Gargoyles to come back when Warner Brothers is losing their steam. They had at that time. I see why Gargoyles couldn't. They was rivaling WB with that cartoon, just that cartoon, but time schedules fucked it up. They had WB had Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, Tiny Toons, Freakazoid, and Batman animated series, and then later on you had Road Rovers.
Yeah.
Monster Ranch is Fox Kids, but sooner or later you had Droopy, the Master Detective, and shit like that. I mean, come on, you could have did so much. I would even like to see a Gargoyles crossover with Darkwing Duck. That would have been a dope episode.
It would have been.
I mean, two Disney universes mixing together.
That's what else I liked about Darkwing Duck too, because it would have went so well. Because you think about it, Darkwing Duck, he wasn't a superhero for for justice. He was doing it for his own glory. He was in it for himself. He was in it to get his out there is Darkwing Duck.
I mean, and then it was just about Darkwing Duck. You had Launchpad McQuack.
Yep.
You had the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
You had Gizmo.
Goslin.
Yeah, Gosling. You had Gizmo Duck making his appearances.
Mm-hmm.
You had, I think Huey, Louie, and Dewey made a couple of appearances, didn't they?
I'm not sure.
I might be wrong. I'm probably thinking about DuckTales, and then Huey, Louie, and Dewey did have their own cartoon too. So.
Yep, the Quack Pack.
You had Nugget Duck. You had Quacker Jack. You had the liquid dog thingy. You had the bull.
The hats that ate metal.
Yeah, and it's like they had Darkwing Duck basically was the answer, Disney's answer to Batman, because he was basically Batman.
Yeah, it was them making fun of Batman altogether. You think about it, everything he had, he used plungers for his weapons instead of like the batarang. And
Quacker Jack was basically the knockoff Joker.
Mm-hmm.
And the comic books was even darker than the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
They said Quacker Jack was like pure evil in the cartoon.
Yep.
Not the cartoon, but the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to order the comic books. Like, I don't know, man. I was bidding on comic books last night, and I just lost every bid. Like, it's like I waited till the last second, I clicked bid, and then somebody said it just got outbid. I'm like, what the fuck, yo? Because I tried to buy a whole run of Sonic the Hedgehog from series like Archie Comics when they still running Sonic, but it was like issue 1 all the way up to issue 240.
Dang. Yeah, man, I know you feel bad because I was looking for the G Gundam series. Like, what a lot of people don't understand is the G Gundam series is a really hard to find for like the box set. Like you will not find the box set in stores anywhere. You have to like look all over the internet. And I found a good price one on eBay for one of the seasons, so I was trying to bid, and this dude kept outbidding me. And you know how like you can set your standard for it.
Yeah.
So like I started getting mad because then I realized that by the end of this bid, I was like, I'm not gonna outbid this guy. So what I did was I got mad and I made him bid over his over the listed price for it. So like it was supposed to be like $35 or something. I made him pay like $45 for it.
Yeah, basically you just called it a bluff. You just wanted to keep pushing it up to see what he was gonna do with it.
Mm-hmm. So I was like, if you want to overpay for this thing, be fine. But like because like I was mad because I was leading the bid for like the whole 2 days. I was like, I got this. Then this guy just comes in and just rules. So I was like, I kept marking mine up, and then I got to like it was at the $35 mark. I'm like, this dude isn't. I'm like, you know what? Fine, you're about to pay. You're about to overpay for this.
See, they're the type of dudes that like to troll you. They're the type of dudes that have the app on their phone, and they're gonna keep pushing. They probably had the one-click, like auto-click thing and shit. So that shit was like, cause the bid came from $5. It came from like 99 cents, and I came back because it had like 3 hours left, and then I came back, it was like up to 10, and it's like $5 for shipping. So it was understandable because it was coming from all the way from Hawaii. So, and I'm just sitting there waiting, and I'm just waiting, and the shit hopped up to $15. Last 5 minutes in, then $20. I'm like, fuck it, I'm not gonna win this one. So I bid it again, cause I would just have faith, cause I can pay. It doesn't matter. Bid it again, $22, $33 out of nowhere. So I'm like, what the fuck? I lost each one. I'm like, come on, I can't win not one. I couldn't win not one. And now I got a Mega Man series I'm bidding on tonight. I'm pretty sure I probably done missed it. I don't know, cause I didn't get an email yet, so it's probably still going on. It was listed at $5.95. Last time I checked it, with like $3 delivery. I don't understand why they charging for delivery. What they can just do for delivery for comic books. I mean, and then it's like that's the best time to try to buy a series that you like. You want to buy multiple runs of it because once like I was time the Beast Wars series because I bought one. Then I gotta go buy the next one, and I gotta buy the next one like that. I'm gonna be buying them because I can't find a complete run of them together in a lot. So it's like,
exactly.
So it's like frustrating.
Sometimes that's why I say sometimes it's more expensive to go to Amazon, but at least you cut out half the bullshit for it.
I mean, yeah, you go to Amazon, but you can also go to the comic book like online stores.
Yeah,
Like
that's
my
true.
comic book shop, like they have a great wide selection. That's how I got my Avengers versus Transformers series. I'm only missing one issue. I just can't find that issue. It's like hard to find that issue.
Yep. And then sometimes, like, I go to this one place. It's called Second and Charles in Fayetteville. Like, I'm telling you, I found so many good. Like, I'm a Venom fan too, and I'm telling you, I found they had like a whole slew of Venom comics. I completed the first like a mini series they had. It was Funeral Pyre or whatever. That was that series, and that was like I love that series. I still got it. Had its a limited edition first issue cover too with the glitter and shiny holographics on it.
Yeah, the vibrant cover.
Yep. Yep. I got that, and it's still sitting in my box, safe in its case.
I don't know, man. I'm trying. I can't find no Gargoyle comic books because I really want to read them, and it look like I'm gonna have to go to the comic book store or call a comic book store and see if they have them in stock. Because I can't find. I think I would be able to find them on eBay. I was surprised I can find Street Sharks comic books. Some of their comic books, Cowboys and Moon Aces, Stone Protectors, some of their comic books. And a lot of people don't even remember Stone Protectors because Stone Protectors cartoon was horrible.
I kind of remember it. I just never watched it like that because, like you said, it was horrible.
I still watched it because I thought it was dope because their toys was dope. They were like crown fighting trolls.
Yep.
But I don't know, man. Now I want to go in there and look for these Gargoyle toys. I want to look for that Goliath.
Exactly. I gotta what you call because that Goliath's not. That's gonna be hard to find. If you find, it's gonna be expensive.
Yeah, because I found, like I told you, I was looking for the Caveman Turtles. Like, you remember that little series of toys? I found them. They want $40 for each one of them, so I might get them. But
for the Gargoyle toys?
No, Caveman Turtles.
Caveman Turtles.
But YouTube, this video is coming to an end. So peace out.